Welcome to MathSolve. In this video, we are going to look at the gradient of a straight line. What does that gradient mean? The gradient is representing the how much the line will be inclined with the x-axis, or we can say in other word how much its slope, it making slope with the x-axis. In this video, I'm trying to show you two examples. The first one is showing the positive gradient, and the second one is showing you how this line is a negative gradient. And first we start with the gradient, how to determine the gradient, right? So if I start the gradient, which is represented by m, as I said, it's a slope, and it is basically mentioning rise over run. So rise is, it means how much the line is making the vertical movement and how much it will be in horizontal movement. So vertical movement, in other word, we can say rise, which is del y, and horizontal movement is a run, which is del x. Okay. So, and you know what I'm saying, del y del x, is you know that any 2 points is enough to get a straight line. So let's say I'm taking this 2 point, which is x1 y1, and the other point is x2 y2. Okay, and then from this point to this point, how much, and then if I make a connecting line, it's a straight line obviously, and you can see how much it is making a vertical travel and horizontal travel. And you can see here, if I just extend these lines, obviously you see this is our x1 and this is our x2, and if I make a extension here, this is our y1 and this is our y2. Okay, so it means the gap between here to here is telling you del y, right? So our del y will be y2 minus y1, and the gap from here to here, which is our del x, and I can write when it is x2 minus x1. So the difference between x2 and x1 is giving you the del x, and that is coming as a formula del y over del x, and I can just write when it is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and this is the gradient formula. So if the question is giving only 2 points and asking if these 2 points is passing through a line and find out the gradient of that line, we can just straight away use that formula, which is rise over run. So it's the vertical component, the distance travel in vertical component and the horizontal component, right? Now if let's say instead of x1 y1 x2 y2 we have a points, and in this case we can just count the grid and then tell what is that point, right? So let's say our x1 in here is 1 2, so I'm just writing it's a 2, and then our y1 is again is a 2. Okay, and our x2, if I just count the grid, 1 2 3 4, so x2 is 4, and our y2 is 1 2 3 4 5 6, 4 and 6. And now we know that 6 is our y2 and 4 is our x2. We can just straight away use these values here to get the gradient. So I can just say, okay, what is the gradient of this line? If I have 2 points, I am just saying, okay, y2 in this case 6 minus y1, which is 2, x2, which is 4, minus x1, which is 2, and then it is giving you 6 minus 2, which is 4, and then 4 minus 2 is 2, it's 2. So it means our gradient is 2, and which is positive. And you can also see it's a positive as if you look at that now, even if we have a straight line given, we can straight away draw a right angle triangle and then see the horizontal movement and vertical movement for, and anywhere in this line the gradient will be the same. It's a constant gradient, right? So for example, if I say, how about if I take a right angle, this one, but when you are moving, make sure that you are moving in a direction. First, like x, we are moving this direction, and then y without taking the pen out. So we are making the right angle without taking the pen out. So now you can see you are moving positive x direction, and then you are moving positive y direction. So it means am is basically positive del y and positive del x. That's why you are, and then y and x, we are just counting the grid and get the value. So we can see that vertical movement is 2 and then your horizontal movement is 1, because from here to here is a 1, so it's 1, so which is 2. So anywhere, if you take any right angle triangle from this line, you will get the same gradient, and it is positive because if you look at the movement, it's a positive x direction, positive y direction. Now in order to see the difference, how the next one is the negative, if you look at the even any point, like for example, if I take this point and this point, and if you count the grid 1 2 3 4 5, so this coordinate will be x0 y5, and this one will be 1 2 3 4, so it's a x4 y0. And if I use the formula, you will see the answer will be the negative. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, I'm just thinking this is our x1 y1, this is our x2 y2, so it means it will be y2 minus y1, so 0 minus of y1, which is 5, and x2, which is 4, minus 0, and that giving minus 5 over 4, minus 5 over 4, right? Minus 5 over 4. Now as I said, that would be negative. You can see from here as well, like if you make a right angle triangle, then you have to make like that, right? So like this, without moving the, without taking the pen out, so it means you have to go like that then. So this and this, and so now you can see the x is going negative direction, so our del x, our del x would be negative, but our del y is showing the positive because it's moving positive y direction. So our rise positive, run negative, so which give you the negative of negative value of gradient. And if you just put the value, you can obviously see that it is but you can just write the negative of like rise over run, and rise is 5, we can see y is 5, and then y is like the run is 4, so it's obviously the answer will be 5 of minus 4, right? So it's negative of, the gradient would be the negative overall gradient. So, and you can see when x increase, y decrease, so they are changing in opposite manner, it's a negative gradient. And when they are going x increase, y increase, or x decrease, y decrease, they are going in a same manner, then it would be a positive gradient. So we can determine the gradient by using the formula, which is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, I mean the rise over run. Or we can just, if there is a triangle given in the graph and you can see that the grid is obvious, then you can just make a right angle triangle and move the rise direction and run direction without taking the pen out, then you can get the gradient value as well. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe the channel to see up-to-date videos. Thank you.